All right, well, this morning we're going to do a flow for our hips. As you know, yin yoga always does work on our low back and our hips, but when we get a flow that's designed for the hips, then we are for sure able to take them in all the rotations. So, outward rotation of our hips, inner rotation, and if you think about it, sitting cross-legged is outer rotation, but then you can also turn them the other way, right? And then you can do abduction. You can stack the knees in various poses, and then you're adducting, so you're pulling on the outer part of the hip and squishing into the groins. And then two more ways for a total of six. Any back bends will pull into the front of the hips, and then any forward bends we're going to be pulling into the back of the hips. Good morning, Sally. Now I'm going to see if I can turn off these. I can. Well, that's fabulous. So I won't be able to see who's joined now because I've turned them off, and you won't be able to see either, but then you've got the whole screen. So thank you, Michael, for giving me that little tip. I'm plugging my phone in just so that hopefully it keeps the internet. I know Jan and I were talking about the crappy internet we seem to have here. So hopefully last time, I won't jinx it, it was all good. All right, so start however you would like. Whether you want to sit or lie back. From last time, I think you remember, you can sit with one foot in front of the other, hands in your lap, on your thighs, whatever feels right there. If you're lying back, might want to have the inner knees resting together with the legs bent to start off with. And again, your hands can be by your sides, palms up or down, or maybe on your belly. If you're lying back, it's really nice to have one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart. Shrug your shoulders up to your ears, and then let them slide down your back away from your ears. Tuck your chin in slightly to lengthen the back of the neck. Let your eyes fall softly shut if you haven't already done so. Just settling in, maybe wiggling a little, feeling your sit bones grounding onto your mat. Let go of your morning. Let go of today, whatever's in store. Try to let go of worries and anxieties. Set that virtual bubble around yourself. A place of safety and calm. Take note now as you do a body scan, running your mind's eye over your whole body, mind, spirit. Take note if there are any areas or issues that may arise that are in need of a little extra care or attention this morning. Not that you'll dwell on whatever does arise, but acknowledge it. Maybe create a little space. When you check in at the end of the hour with how you're feeling, you may notice, there's been a subtle shift in sensation or perspective. Feel the earth beneath you. Sense that earth energy. Feel grounded, rooted to the earth. And then bring your attention outside of your house to the skies above. Notice how you feel uplifted when you bring your mind's eye there. And yet you're still rooted to the earth, but with this lightness. And then begin to notice your breath, starting your breath work. Starting to breathe in and out through your nose. Pulling the air in, tracing its path up your nose, down your throat, into your lungs. And then out that same pathway. Feel the swirl past the rings of the nostrils, both on the inhale and on the exhale. Notice the temperature difference, how the air is cooler when it first swirls in, and warmer as it swirls back out. Notice how your breath is slowing down. start to even out your inhales and exhales, maybe using the counting, putting a steady count on the inhale and that same steady count on the exhale. Or you can use that little phrase, that little mantra. I am breathing in. I am breathing out. You can drop the I am part of it if you prefer. Just ways to help keep your mind anchored inside your body. It'll wander, but focusing on your breath and your mantra or the numbers will help to bring it back inside your body. And the more you can practice with this presence, this awareness, the better the benefits are. Still breathing. Pay attention to your rib cage as it moves. Feel the fronts lift and expand. Feel the backs. What about the side ribs? Notice the contraction as you exhale. Go deeper on another inhale. Go to your lungs. You can feel them, but see them with your mind's eye. These glorious sponges, basically, that fill up the majority of your chest cavity. Feel them expand, but see them expand. Fronts, backs. Imagine and feel the sides of your lungs thickening. Send them some gratitude for all this work they do, nourishing every cell in your body with this life-giving breath. First place that we assimilate the chi in the outer world with our inner world, our inner self, so they're tender organs. Take a few more breaths here on your own, just going within. One more breath. And then if you're on your back, make your way to one side. Pause there. Everyone can blink their eyes open and closed a few times. Remove your cat from your lap if you're seated. Oh, she's not happy I'm doing that. And then straighten out your legs. I'm sure Liz, your cat, is with you as well. Cheryl, another student, her cat was fascinated and in love with Bella all summer and spring when I was doing these two. All right, and then we're going to start off, oh no, we're not going to start off with on our knees. We're going to actually stay on our bums. You might want to sit, elevate your hips and sit on an end of your rolled up yoga mat, or sit on a little quilt like I tend to. It just helps to lift your pelvis slightly and tilt it forward, coming into butterfly. The start of this flow is similar to a Paul Grilly one where you don't hold quite as long, and just coming out of poses a little sooner. So we'll start off with butterfly. So your foot soles come together. Take an inhale, and then as you exhale, start to lean forward. Now, depending on your back, you can let it round. But if you have any back issues, then make sure you keep your tummy pulled in, and then keep your back flat. So this will be maybe Joanne. I know your back can give you some trouble sometimes too. Paula, another one in gray too. So don't round. Maybe just keep your back flat. Hinge from the hips. So this is today about the hips as well. So you might find some of you that can round, but you want to try it with a flat back so you get a little bit more sensation in your hip joints. Your hands can be wherever they like. Remember, blocks can be great. Or rest your head on your cat if she's sitting between you. She's such a character. You can set your elbows on your shins. Maybe rest your head in your hands if you like. Put the block on your feet maybe and rest your head on the block. Whatever feels right. Or maybe it's the forearms that go on the block. However you can totally relax. Come back to your breath. In through the nose, back out through the nose. surrender. So you find that edge. That's the first principle of yin, and there's only 3. Find that edge, that place of discomfort, a little bit of tugging, a little bit of tension, never any pain. And then you hang out there, you be still. That's the second tattva. Still physically, but still internally as well. Now on an inhale, slowly come up, just holding that for 2 minutes. Take your right leg and just turn it the other way, coming into deer pose. If you find your knee is not going to want to come down to the ground, I mean, first thing in the morning, sometimes it's a little bit stiffer in the hip, support it like I'm doing. Pull your left foot in so it's by the kneecap. Try to not be like this. Try to keep both your sit bones on your mat. Once you've got your knee supported where it is, then turn over to the left. So you're adding a bit of a twist here. And just here for a minute. You can wrap your left arm behind your waist, or you can keep it behind you if you like. You can look over your shoulder. As long as you're not pulling, your shoulders are relaxed, your arms are relaxed. And then this gets into spine a little bit as well. But mainly, you'll feel this inner rotation, especially. You want to feel it in your hip, nothing in the knee. That's why it's important to support that knee. Doesn't matter how far it is. It's your body and your experiences and your physical makeup. Inhale your way back to the center. We just hold that one for a minute. Stretch out, well, not all the way, unless you need to. If you feel that things are just not right, then by all means stretch out. But then we'll go into our second round of butterfly. So inhale, and then leaning forward again. Steady breathing, in through your nose, back out through your nose. You can let your head dangle if that's okay for the back of your neck. Or you can support it, as I said before, on the block or in your hands. Maybe the second round of butterfly, if you did keep the back flat, maybe you do round if it's okay for your low back. If not, then stay with that flat back. Check in with your shoulders, relax. Check in with your jaw, relax. Breathe. This is fabulous for your hip joints, but it's also a really nice tug on your spine. And so that second tattva, or principle of stillness, is where we really can find the meditative aspect of yin. Taking time to be present. Pay attention to all the little nuances that are going on. The times when something seems to let go and you can maybe surrender and drop a little further forward. Noticing, as happens in yoga, but especially in yin with these long holds, noticing emotions maybe that pop up, sometimes memories. But never trying to get too involved with these feelings, just observing with that non-judgmental, passive observer part of you. The third principle is time. We hold these poses for minutes with our muscles soft so we can relax our fascia. On an inhale, you're going to come up slowly. Relaxing the muscles gets at the fascia, but more of that in a moment. Pull your right foot in a little bit. This time we're going to turn our left knee over. Remember, use your block. Support under it. If you don't have a block, a cushion is great, or books if you have books handy. And then have that foot sole by that left kneecap. Let things settle for a minute, and then we'll turn over to the right this time. Use your right arm behind you. You can keep it straight, or you can wrap it behind your waist if you like. Relax your shoulders and don't pull. You can experiment though. Give yourself a little pull and notice how that feels for a breath or two, and then totally stop pulling and relax. relax your legs. And you might notice that all of a sudden you're aware of the sensations quite a lot more in your hips. Maybe down that left leg, the inner line of it, maybe into the groin. Maybe you're noticing your ankle bone pressing into your mat, the pressure on your foot a little bit. Inhale your way back to the center. Exhale, and then lift your legs up. And then one more butterfly. Inhale, and then slowly leaning forward. Notice this third one. Maybe you've found that you can lean further forward. And always remembering your feet in yin are not in Baddha Konasana as you would in a yang style. Close in, remembering you've got that nice diamond shape. I'm going to swivel sideways myself because it's a little too hard on the ankle bones on the hardwood floor. Ooh. Let your head go. Ride your breath. If you're finding your hips are talking to you, try sending your breath there. Which seems strange if this is one of the first times you're doing yoga and you think you don't have lungs in your hips, but you can send your breath there energetically, telling them relax, imagining, maybe I love to imagine vapor-like fingers that go in and kind of massage and soften and relax areas that need it. And it really helps, and I mean, wherever you send your thoughts, your mind, you're increasing your blood flow there as well. And energetically, our minds can move energy. We know that. On your next inhale, slowly come back up. Exhale, when you get all the way up, lean back on your hands this time. Set your foot soles down. And just do some nice windshield wipers, putting a little bit of motion in those hips. They should feel a little looser now, maybe. And then we'll come into what's called half butterfly. So straighten out your right leg and pull in your left. A lot of people end up like this with you're kind of in a right angle here. I want you to experiment with moving that, opening that hip a little more, almost as if you were going to go into dragonfly, except for the left leg is bent. So then you start to feel the pull a little more into the groin and down the center of your leg. And then this way you'll feel the twist a little bit more because you're centered over your groin and over your pelvis. So now shift over to that right leg, inhale, and then lean over it. Again, relax both your legs, don't pull, just lean. It might take you a while, some of you this might be your forward bend because you've got tight hamstrings or there's issues with the back, that's okay. Some of you might be right with your head on your shin immediately. You can use blocks as well, so set it on your shin. Maybe rest your head on the block if you like. And then hang out there. Arms are doing nothing except acting as weights, so let them relax. Let gravity pull on them as well. And then you get a nice pull across your shoulders as well. This morning's thought comes from Rabbi Schwartz. True happiness is wanting what you already have. Steady breathing, just like in the beginning meditation. Relax your shoulders, relax your back, relax your legs. So this one is 3 minutes. We're in our last minute now. Just check in if you've felt something engage. Try to relax your legs. Relax your arms and your shoulders. Wiggle your jaw, make sure it's relaxed. Check in that you haven't gravitated to the center as I was tending to do. Ride that breath in and out. On your next inhale, slowly uncurl your way back up. Exhale when you get all the way up. Once again, we go directly into the next pose. So take your left leg, and it's similar to what we did with deer. Just turn it the other way around. This is called half frog. You're going to stay centered. This time the tendency is you want to lean over to your right leg, but try not to. Stay centered. It might even mean that you feel like you're leaning a little to the left. And then if this is plenty for you, stay here. Remember, use your block. If that knee won't come to the ground, set it underneath the block. Set the block underneath the knee. Your foot is out like Charlie Chaplin, ideally, so the inside line of that leg, of that foot, is on your mat. But if that doesn't work, if your foot needs to be on the top of its foot, then that's fine. As long as you're feeling it in the hips and there's no pain in the knee. So take care of your knee, number one. And then if you're not, or if you're wanting, I don't know if you can not feel anything in this, but some people maybe can. Kids, definitely, this is comfortable for them. Lean forward if you want to increase it. And we're just here for 2 minutes, and with all the talking and already, we've been here for just about 1 minute. So half frog, if you think about frog, those of you that are long-time yinsters, where we have both our feet in this pose, and then we're ideally lying flat down. So this is intense. So easy does it. Micro movements. And remember the little mantra. You want sensation. Don't make it sensational. You want to be able to come out of this pose and not be stuck here. Use your ocean breath here. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose, but making that constriction in the back of your throat. Like you were saying, HA, fogging up glasses. But you're pushing that sound through your nose with your lips together. That can help to calm you. It actually literally does help kick in the parasympathetic nervous system. Pull the air in through the nose, but keeping that constriction, like you're saying, AH. Now inhale your way back up. Exhaling. Help this leg lean back and straighten it out. It might feel like it's a little broken. That's common because of the fascia that we're targeting, and that means you have targeted fascia. So shift a little bit here, leave that left leg out, do bouncing if you need to help let that settle down. Then we pull into half butterfly here, pulling our right leg up and out. Remember, try not to have it just in a right angle, but send it out to the side a little bit. Take an inhale, and then leaning over that left leg now. These are aggravators of sciatica too, so always remember, sit on a little rolled up quilt. You can sit on it all the time. I don't have sciatica, but it does often in these help with the pelvis. It just feels like I get a better forward bend when I have that slight raise in my hips. And you're just on the edge of your blanket or your rolled up yoga mat, if that's what you are doing. Your sit bones just on the edge. They're kind of tipping off it a little bit. Relax your shoulders. Try to relax your legs. The tendency is to want to pull yourself over that leg a little bit. Try to soften those legs. Feel that pull that starts to happen along your lower spine, maybe just above the sacrum and across the top of the pelvis. definitely when you soften, you start to notice the hip joints, that outer rotated one, the right one especially, the pull on the outside line of it. Maybe you're getting a lot of the sensation in the groins, and that's okay too. Wherever you're feeling it, A is where you need it, and B, well, you're doing it then if you feel it. Yin is different, that it doesn't have to be off the charts. It shouldn't be. It should just be that sensation, that annoying discomfort. As mentioning fascia, when we work our muscles, we do repetitions. We want our muscles warm. We push them a lot. And that's what targets muscle cells. And they make more new muscle cells. So you have larger muscles, stronger muscles. Fascia is totally different. We do these tugging, intense, but not too intense. The tension, the tugging type of holds for minutes. That's the third tap. I don't think I ever did say the third one, is holding for time with our muscles soft so that we can target these fascia cells to produce more fascia cells. There's different ones. The ones that produce our cartilage are called chondrocytes. Not that you need to remember this, but I just love their names. Fibroblasts especially are my favorite, and they make ligament cells. So then you get that length. Take one more breath. Inhale, coming slowly up with that one more breath. Exhaling when you get all the way up. And then we'll do the half frog on this side. So take your right leg and just turn it over right where it is. So you've got that open tugging feeling. Remember, take a block and put it under this knee if need be. And then remember, the tendency is to, you feel like you want to lean over that right leg. Stay centered. Inside edge of that foot is on your mat, possibly, or maybe it's the top of the foot. That's fine too. I'll actually swivel around so I'm facing you. And then if you feel okay through your hips, then you can start to lean forward. But keeping those legs relaxed the whole time. Walking your hands forward. You can always use that block however you want. Resting your arms or your elbows. Maybe your head goes in your hands this time if you've had enough of letting it dangle. And sometimes with yin, it's better to back off a little bit. Go in slower, be more gentle. And sometimes you might end up in a deeper place. Use your ocean breath here. This is intense. Easy does it. I think this may be the only flow that has this half frog. So enjoy the opportunity to do it. Think of all the good you're doing for your hip joints. Now on an inhale, slowly come up. Exhale when you get all the way up. Lean over to that left side and help your leg back in. Again, you get that, kind of fragile, I feel broken kind of feeling, and that's okay. Enjoy that spearmint feeling, that warmth, coolness buzzing through your hips, your legs, especially your right one. Lean back if you like on your hands. And then whatever else you want to do, whether you want to go into windshield wipers, maybe you just enjoy straightening, pointing, and flexing. But windshield wipers are another great one, or another great one is that reverse tabletop to put a little bit of effort into those legs, a little bit of muscle work. Sometimes that can help make things feel like they're coming back together again. Excellent. And then come over onto your tummies. Going to pull into the front of our hips now. You're probably going to be mad that my feet are going to go on your blanket. Yep, she's going to move. She's most accommodating that way. So set up by coming onto your forearms, ideally. But if you find that's a little too intense for your back, then remember you can lie your ribs down and have your hands under your shoulders, and that's baby cobra. Feel free to stay there. If this even feels a little too intense, just lie with your head on your stacked hands. That's a bit of a back bend right there. And then maybe take it into the baby cobra when you're ready, or if you're back up in Sphinx, then you're there. Looking down, letting your head drop, or looking in front of you if you like. Doesn't matter what you do with your head. Relax your bum, relax your legs. And if you're finding you're not feeling too much in the spine or in the front of your hips, float your feet up into the air. And then relax your bum and your legs again. That's a great way to feel the sensation go more into the front of your hips. Or if that's a little too much, just open the legs. And that's another way that you might find a little more sensation in the front of the hips, though that tends to hit the back a little bit more with the intensity rather than the hips. But floating your feet up in the air will definitely give your front of your hips a little bit more. And Liz, if you can't do this for your shoulder, then lie your spine down and just do this if that's okay for your shoulders. And you can still float your feet up into the air. And this is the problem with live is, here comes my old boy Rocco who needs to go outside. So stay there. We're here for 3 minutes and we're just at the halfway point. I'll be right back. He'll let me know when he wants to come in. He's, as I mentioned before, got prostate cancer, and he's gone downhill quite a lot in the past 2 weeks. He gets us up several times in the night sometimes, and last night was one of them, so we kind of take turns, and then the other one can sleep in a little bit. But if he has to go, he has to go now. Anyhow, breathing. If you want, for this last 30 seconds, you can tuck your chin in and lift it up, pulling on the ligaments in the front of your neck, which is really nice. Steady breathing. This also targets your thyroid gland, lifting your chin up. Don't do it if you start to feel any kind of lightheadedness. And of course, if you have any neck pain, don't do that. One more lovely full breath. And then inhale and come all the way down. Stack your hands with your favorite hand on top. Rest your forehead or one side of your head on your hands. Puff your low back up out with your breath. And then you have options here. You can stay still, or you can draw whatever way you're facing that same leg up alongside you on your mat. Or you might like to do windshield wipers by bending at the knees and waving your legs back and forth. Just letting that leave your body. And then let the legs come down. We'll come into one more back bend here. This one is a little deeper, but it's again, you have options. It's up to you. So you can repeat what we did if your back's had enough. You can do baby cobra with your hands under your shoulders. You can stay with your head on your hands if you like. If you're okay and you want to come up deeper, then come up into seal pose. So that's where you turn your fingers out to the side edges of your mat, straighten into your arms. And if you did Sphinx pose last time and you kept your legs flat, maybe enough for you, the next level is just floating your feet up into the air and staying in your Sphinx pose. So there's tons and tons of options here. You pick whatever you like. From your shoulders here, you can push into those arms and rise up out of your shoulders, or you can drape down into the shoulders, relaxing in like that. It's totally up to you, whatever feels right. Remember, target your hips. So you might find draping down into the shoulders moves the pull into the lower belly, lower abdomen, and you might find you get more sensation there. And again, you can open your legs in seal, or you can float them up into the air as well, as long as you find that place where you can relax your bum, relax your legs. This one we just hold 2 minutes. We're at the halfway mark here, so if you want to bring it into your neck again, tuck and lift your chin. Breathing, breathing, steady in through your nose, back out through your nose. This is lovely for your spine as well, but it's fantastic for the front of your hips if you can take it into the full seal. But wherever you're feeling it, you're doing it again. So as long as you're getting some sensation in the front of the hip, then you're fine. Take a nice deep inhale. And then on the exhale, let your legs and your torso come all the way down. Stack your hands, this time with the opposite hand that doesn't feel quite natural on top, and turn your head the opposite direction. Puff your low back out with your breath, and then doing whatever further release you did on the first side. Letting that all go. And then let that leg or legs come back on down when you're ready. Push up onto your hands and knees. Maybe do a couple of cat-cows here if you like, arching your back, dropping your head, looking for your belly button. Go the opposite way, looking up, dropping the belly, spreading the sit bones. Go through a couple of those. And then we're going to come into dangling pose. I'll let you get set up because I can hear Rocco needs to come back in. Make sure you have a block near the back of your mat, and just go through a couple of cat-cows and I'll just let him come in. All right, so dangling pose. I'll show you since I'm standing up. We're going to end up like this. If you have any eye issues or blood pressure issues that you shouldn't be inverted like this, then you're just going to do this. Exact same pose, but seated. Same shape, totally. It just takes the inversion out of it. So that's where we'll end up, but I'll take you there safely. If you're there and you find that things aren't feeling right, for whatever reason, don't stand up from here because you can get a head rush and faint. And with this, me not able to see you, so you really have to be safety on your own here. Crawl back down and then come down, maybe to child's pose, and let things settle down. And then from this dangling pose, we'll drop into squat pose after. So for a lot of people, squat is, here comes another visitor. Squat pose is not available for them. I see Rocco. The cat eats over there on a little raised platform, and he likes to lick off her placemat. He's really good. He doesn't lick off her food, but he cleans her placemat. Anyhow, so this, if it's not available, you can sit on a block. That's why I want your block there, and then that can allow your legs to relax more. Okay. If this is too hard on your knees, you can, from dangling, crawl forward, swing your legs around, come onto your back, and do this happy baby pose. Your knees are wide, and reach up for whatever it is that you can hang on to for that. So that's another option, all right? Okay, so now all the explanation is done. Push up into downward facing dog. That's how we'll start. Maybe walk the dog, lift one heel at a time, just to warm up those hamstrings a little bit, because this gets into them as well. But we're also going to pull into the back of our hip joint, so deep into the butt cheek. Walk your hands back to your hips, or to your feet, sorry. And then we're going to just dangle here. This pose is called dangling. Come forward a little bit. There we go. Feet are about 2 fist widths apart. You can clasp opposite elbows if you like. You can just let your arms dangle if you like. If you find that you can easily, without any effort, clasp a wrist behind you, then you can do that. This first round, bend your knees a fair bit. Let your rib cage come onto your thighs. And again, it depends on flexibility. Some of you with tight hamstrings that are runners, that are cyclists, you might find that you'd have to be like this to get your ribs onto your thighs. That won't happen. So just bend your knees, and you're working your quads then. So this is one of the few poses where we can do a little bit of muscle work here. So bending your knees, working those quads. And again, whatever you want with your arms. If you're finding that it's pretty intense, and for your low back, rest your arms on just above your knees. And do dangling this way. Let your head go. You can still get some of the inversion effects this way. And for some of you, this is forward bend. So let and this is your dangling. And even with your legs bent, you're still here. And your back doesn't have that movement, and the hamstrings are tight. That's okay. Wherever you are, as long as you're feeling it, you're doing it. But this first round, we'll keep our knees bent, so that we're working into the quads a little bit. Listen to your breath. You're getting many of the benefits that you would if you were in a headstand inversion pose. So you're massaging your heart right now by tipping it. Feel the strength of your feet. Feel the 4 corners, balls of the foot, outside edges of the foot, the heels. Make sure you're pressing evenly. Now inhale, put your hands on your mat, heel toe your feet apart, and drop your bum down. So this is the squat part that we're coming into. You can keep your hands on your mat. Those of you that are going to do this on your back, crawl down and do it onto your back. You can sit your bum on the block, remember? You can keep your hands, if you don't want to keep them on your mat, you can bring them together in prayer. Kind of the upper arms or at the inner knees. Find a place to focus. Steady gaze. Breathing. Relaxing your legs as much as you can. In through the nose. Back out through the nose. Notice if you're in a little ball like this, try to relax those shoulders. Got about 45 more seconds. I'm going to turn him in the right direction. Relaxing those shoulders, relaxing your jaw, ride your breath. One more inhale, And then exhale, plant your hands. If you're on your back, go to your side and pause there. Come back to dangling. So walk your hands back, bring your feet in till that you're about that 2 fist width apart. This time we're going to keep our legs straight. So we'll work into the back, the hamstrings, the back of the legs a little bit more. You might feel this a little more in the back of your hips. You might be feeling this in the front as well, the compression. You can leave your hands on your mat if you like. Again, you've got those options. Clasp the elbows or clasp a wrist behind if there's no effort. Let your head go, maybe shake it no, nod it yes. Breathing in, breathing out through your nose. This is a lovely one for your spine as well, using gravity to pull on it. Notice again your feet. Feel them firm on the ground, but feel the weight on all 4 corners distributed evenly. Notice if you're tending to lean too much towards the toes, or maybe you're leaning more to the back and there's not equal weight on the front part of your foot. One more breath. And then inhale, heel toe your feet apart so you drop your hips down, but come down. Everybody, we're going to do this on our back this time. So set your knees down, spin around onto your back. Bring your feet up into the air like you're standing on your ceiling. Open your knees quite wide and then reach up where you can reach. So it's basically a squat pose, but you're on the outside edges of your feet. Steady breathing. Oh, Rufus, no. Go on, get going. No. This is the exuberant one. I'm sorry we've had all these interruptions with the fur kids this morning. 2 minutes here. Out you go. Go on. Go on. Steady breathing. And you can reach the insides or the outsides of your feet. And again, you're not pulling, you're just letting your arms be weights. Check in with your jaw. This one we tend to grit our teeth. So you want to make sure your jaw is soft and relaxed. This is a strong compression in the front of your hip joint. And also a lot of pull in the back of the hip joint as well. So it's a great one for both of those areas of your hip. Now inhale, let those legs float on down. Set your foot soles down onto your mat. Be still for several breaths, just enjoying that release. And then windshield wipers if you like, or maybe you want to bring your knees in and give yourself a hug, whatever works for you. Take your time letting that go. And then bring your arms out to a T. And we're going to do twisted roots here. So take your left knee on top of your right as if you're sitting in a chair and you've got your knees stacked. This is another great one to squish through the groin as well as pull in the outside point of the hips. Drop your knees over to the right. You can leave your foot on the side like that, or you can wrap it and hook. Whatever is up to you. It's up to you. Drop your knees slowly over to the right You might find with your legs wrapped up like this that you tend to, this left shoulder pops up. So try to keep it down, which is a good reason why you have the blocks under your knees, so you can keep both shoulders in contact with the mat. Relaxing. Feel that twist through your low back, but also another nice pull on the hip joints. Relaxing into the twist. Soften your belly. If it's okay for your head, you're turning your head and looking to the outstretched left hand. But if it bothers your neck, then don't turn your head. Keep the back of your head on your mat. Relax your belly, relax your shoulders. Breathe. Inhale your legs back up to the center. Undo them, plant your foot soles, push into those feet, lift your hips into the air so you realign your spine and then set your hips back down. Go the other way now, right knee on top of the left, wind up those legs or not, fake it, doesn't matter. Scoot your hip under a little bit and drop those knees slowly over to the left. Turning your head if it's okay for your neck and looking to the outstretched right hand. Again, you're breathing in and out through your nose. Yogic breath. Twists help to release tension in your spine. And that's why you'll find them at the end of a yoga class. That's why you find yourself doing twists throughout the day. Let something go. They also restore equilibrium in your nervous system, helping to give you that all is well feeling. And with a hips flow, these have been some intense poses, so this is a good way to release that tension. Settle everything down. Inhale your knees back up to the center. Undo those legs again. Plant your foot soles. Push into them. Lift your hips into the air and then set your hips down. Bring your knees into your chest. Wrap your arms around your shins. Give yourself a hug. Rock over that spine, massaging. Take as long as you like, but when you're ready, let those legs float on down, stretching them out for final relaxation. Shavasana pose, our favorite pose. If you have a hoodie or a quilt that you want to cover up with, then this is a good time to do that now. Get nice and cozy. Take in a deep breath and let it go with a sigh. Do that one more time. Deep breath in. Let it go. Sink into your mat now, just like you're lying in warm sand. Nowhere to go. Nothing to do. Fill your body with a warm, healing light of relaxation. From your toes to your scalp. You're warm, heavy, glowing with this light of healing and relaxation. Float away to a happy place or stay within. Let your breath be whatever it wants to be. And let your body absorb the benefits now in Shavasana. I'll leave you here for about 3 minutes on your own. And I will close this session. Namaste, my friends. Thank you for joining me this morning. Have a wonderful Thursday. I'll see you next week, Tuesday and Thursday, 7 o'clock.